Look at this stone. It looks kind of like a tiger's eye, kind of like a blue tiger's eye, kind of like a jasper. You guys can tell me in the comments what you think it is. We're going to wrap it. 20 gauge is really good for this. Sometimes you want a color wire that's going to contrast the stone really nicely. Other times you want a color wire that's going to blend with the stone, still show up, but kind of complement the stone. So this antique brass or vintage bronze is very similar to the colors that you see in the stone. So we're going to try that, and it kind of gives it an elegant, more subtle look than when you have really bright wire that pops. Either way is great, but that's what we're going to do now. And I'm going to show you, for top drilled stones, this is going to be one of the easiest wraps you can do. It doesn't matter if they're drilled this way or drilled across sideways. If there's a hole at the top of the stone that you want to use, you can use this pattern. Now, if you have a totally oval, smooth stone with a hole, this pattern is not going to be quite as stable. You might want to make more of a matrix web type pattern. But if you have any kind of angles, any kind of corners, any kind of irregularities that the wire can grab to, that will keep it from slipping all around, like you see with an oval shape, the wire can just slip everywhere, regardless of whether there's a hole drilled at the top. Then this pattern will be fine. If the stone is anything but if it's perfectly oval, you can still use this pattern. It just you might find the wire slips a little bit more. All right, so let's take, not a lot, we don't need too much for this. Maybe, I'd say 2 feet would be fine, but I'm going to take almost 3 feet just to be on the safe side, because you never know what could come up. And the extra wire, if we cut it off, we can use it for earrings and stuff. Put your wire through the hole, bring the stone to the middle of the wire. Hold the two ends together so you can find the middle of the wire, and then pull and push these together, twist, give it a couple twists. Now this is the same. If you had the whole stone drilled straight through the side, you would do the exact same thing and twist. The only difference is you might need to turn the stone a quarter turn more to get the wire where you want it. So now we're going to bend it on a right angle and then bend it backwards against that right angle to make our loop. And some people, again, you can put like a pen in there, a marker or something, try to get your loop really circular. I like doing it like this. It kind of gives it, like, it naturally flows with the wire, and it gives it kind of an upside down teardrop look. And so now this is really simple. All we're going to do, we're going to go diagonally across the surface twice. We're going to go diagonally around here, come around the back, diagonally around here, come around the back. And then we're going to come up once across the top, going the opposite way, diagonal. Let me draw it real quick for you. So we have this bound tightly here, twisted, turned into a double wire, and wrapped around itself, I believe, at least once. And now we're just going to come diagonally across here with the two wires like this, around the back, and then again like that, and then around the back. Then we're going to come up the front pretty much like this. It's going to come around from here to the back, come up the front, and then come around here, pop out here, and start wrapping around the top loop, what I call scarfing it, like that's a face getting a scarf. And then we cut the two sharp ends halfway across, and we shove them deep into this little bowl created by the scarf, and that's it. Now, this looks boring. What you can do along the way, you can make these guys a little bit fancy, or not. You can make them straight. It depends what you want to do, how busy you want it to be, or how fancy. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save most of the fancy part for this last two strands that come up, where we can do, by this time the stone's starting to get really locked in place with the wire already added, so we can have some fun, make some fun swirls like that. And that's not going to give it a crazy busy look, because the stone itself is really pretty. We want a lot of the stone to still show, but just enough of a design to make it elegant and nice. So here we have it. Voila. We're going to come over the top and across to do our first. Oh, and we're actually going to go opposite. In the drawing I have us coming across, and then up. We're actually going to start from this corner. So same idea, but we're going to go and then come up the big one across the opposite way. But either way, it's the same. So here's this. If you want to lock in the loop even tighter, you can give it an extra twist. Like so. There we go. And now we have it right here. Now you can pull it around and start from here, or you can start from here. It really doesn't matter. I'm just going to have these come around like this and just do the simplest. Boom. Easy, right? And They came around the back, and now they're coming for another pass, just coming across diagonal. And this last pass, I think, because this is going to be a big run, I think I'm going to give it one loop, change my mind. It's always okay to change your mind in the middle if you discover something that looks like it's going to work really well. So there's that pass. I'm going to roll that a little tighter. And, oops. All right. And now come around the back again. This time we're just going to hug this little corner in the back. And nope, changed my mind. We're going to come around both. We're gonna come here and here. That's actually going to give us more strength. Nope, changed my mind again. It's sometimes when you come in the back, you can give it extra strength by crossing the wires and then bringing them back out again. I'm going to do that right here. I'm going to cross the wires, give them a couple twists, 1, 2, and then I'm going to have them come around. Okay. So now I have a lot of power going on here. Because I have one coming up the top, one coming up the side. And the more wire you have coming from different directions, connecting, twisting, getting tight, and then branching off in other directions, in general, the more you're going to have a grip on the stone, where the wire is going to make a matrix or a webbing that grabs the stone. So the stone is really secure at the end of the wrap. And no matter how you bump it or rub it or twist it or yank on a couple pieces, the thing is not going to come undone by normal wear and tear. So these guys are interesting. They're crossing here, and I could just make them come together, or I could give them a little swirl, and I think I want to do that. I want to take advantage of this right here, and I'm going to give them, whenever two wires cross, you can always make a spiral like this. I call it a swirl, or it could be a spiral. But basically, they're crossing, and now I'm going to have them wrap around each other in the same direction a couple times, and that makes this spiral. And now give it some tension, pull on it. And I want to come across here. But I don't want to bump into any of these designs I already have. So I'm just going to cross them like this. I'm trying to decide if I want to put one more loop there or just end it like this. And I think I'm going to do both. I think I'm going to have this one just come across. And I think I'm going to have this one do one more loop at the top by itself. Just like that. And that one is going to come across. There. So now that is locked in. It starts to wrap around, do the scarf. And I actually can do one more pass with this one if I feel like it, and I do. Just making sure everything is tight and secure. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to have it come across and mirror that one. Just like that. I could even make it do the loop too if I want. Do I want it to? Yeah, I think that loop looks a little bit lonely. Let's see what happens if we mirror it with another loop right there. Nope, I don't like it. Let's keep that one loop can be a little bit lonely. That's okay. And now I got to get this wire straight again because I just put some little corners in it. Let's flatten that out. You gotta be careful not to be too greedy. Sometimes you want to put too many loops. There's a balance of elegance between just the right number of designs and too many designs. And don't beat yourself up. Just try to get close to that balance, and you will find each new piece you do you like even more and more. It just comes with doing a lot of pieces. And I still have pieces I do that I'm like, ugh, this is coming out horrible. Just keep moving. Just keep working with it. All right, so this now is mirroring that last curve, coming up to the top, right there, locking in, and now this will begin to continue doing the scarf like that. And check your back. What do you have down here? This is really strong. That's tight in there. I don't think anyone's going to yank that out, but there's always a chance. You could get a fingernail in there and just give it a good tug, and the whole thing, and this whole top part just pops off and the whole thing comes apart. And we don't want that. So what we're going to, these guys are pretty good. We'll give them a little, actually we won't do anything just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what's left of this wire that I can use. I'm going to have it come all the way down, grab onto here, and come all the way back up to secure that. So that will never happen, what I just described. So that's so tight I can't even get it under there. I got to get my fingernail under there first. lift it a little bit. There we go, got it. Okay, see that? Now, gently holding everything in place, because 20 gauge is pretty firm, and if you yank too cavalierly without holding everything else in place, you can yank some other stuff out of where it goes. Give it gently feeding it through and pulling. Oh, see, it's pulling everything. It's already pulling stuff out of place. So now I gotta come back, make sure I put everything back where I want it. That loop is further down. That's better. Okay. That is good. See if I can get it even tighter without messing anything up. I don't want to risk anymore, so I'm going to come back up, straight up the top, and this, having these come across, also locks in these, so there's less chance of those getting snagged. And now these two wires are together. We're going to finish the scarf. Voila, come around one more time, and that looks like a good place to end it for the scarfing. Come across the back. Look at that. Good thing I took extra wire. I'm down to my last 2.5 inches, and just the right amount. I'm going to tuck in these two right here. Now I started out to make this a very simple pattern, and it does still follow this basically. I added a few more twists and turns, but hopefully you guys who want to take this pattern can use it and get ideas from it. You can copy it straight out if you like. I wasn't planning to put these curves and swirls where I did, but I like how it came out. Let's tighten up everything now. I don't like how that looks in the back, so we're going to yank that over to there. Just give it a little crimp. Little crimps tighten things up a lot. I like where everything else is. That needs to be moved more like that. No, it's kind of okay. That's kind of okay. That's kind of okay. That could use a little crimp right there. Tighten it. We don't want any floppy wires in the back. We want to. You can come and crimp stuff. Just be careful it doesn't yank stuff around in the front where you don't want it. Give it a little lightning bolt look. Don't be afraid to add a ton of crimps. It tightens, really tightens in the back. Even these guys can use some crimps. See that? I got nice lightning bolts in them. Now if this flips over while the person's wearing it and this looks like the front, people will be like, oh, that's cool too. Not as elegant as this side though. All right, so just double checking, making sure everything's where we want. This is straight. Give it a good tug. It's very strong. Rub your fingers along all the different parts. See if there's anything you think will snag with a really, don't go crazy with it, obviously, but say somebody's button got caught on one of them or somebody rubbed it or something. You want everything to basically stay in its place. And I'm pretty confident with this. And so I think we're done. Thanks for hanging out.